Support the great work of the Strike 7 Sports Saints discussion section by purchasing licensed NFL fan gear. Items range from Saints hats, jerseys, t-shirts, socks, and so much more. We would greatly appreciate it if you would purchase these items from the text link listed below. The revenue generated from today's offer goes into the funding of the Strike 7 Sports platform. Click on the link strike7sports.com/Saints Fanatics. You will be taken over to Fanatics website. Thank you. Yo, what's up? This is your boy Derek Branch here at Saints Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. In this episode of the Saints Discussions podcast, I want to talk about the first week that was of the Saints 2022 NFL training camp sessions. This was the first week of actual training camp drills where they actually put a pads, the shells, and actually went through drills with the team compared to the previous week when like that. Well, compared to the previous week where it was just walkthrough of drills and nothing really serious and all that, but it was just kind of to get everybody caught up to speed. Been a long last couple of months. Guys been out. Now some people worked out, some people may have not worked out. Gotta get people back up into shape. This week, the week that just passed, they went into shells and practice with pads on. So, topics we want to cover in this podcast, this episode, is Michael Thomas's workload increase, Trevor Pennin's aggression, CD Deuce holds out for a new deal, and the Dolphins tamper with Sean Payton while still under contract. I wanted to go a little depth into that one. All right, so first we're gonna talk about Michael Thomas and his ramp up as the Saints prepare for the 2022 regular season. As you may know by now, he was out for the last last year, and missed a huge majority of the 2020 season. Drew Brees last year due to that high ankle sprain he suffered in the first game of the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He hasn't really been right ever since, but we missed last year to get everything caught up with the ankle and all the mess that came about with that situation. I'm not gonna elaborate on it because it's done. It's in the past. But he's back now and he's looking really good in training camp from what I see. With the cuts that he's making, the slants, the matchups that he's been in so far with certain defensive backs have looked great. It looks like the old Michael Thomas. He looks pretty good. I'm excited about that. There was a video online where I think he went up against Paulson Adebo, who has just been shutting everybody down in training camp. Every time I see a post from somebody, from a reporter from the Saints, is about Paulson Adebo shutting somebody down, breaking up a pass, intercepting a pass. But it's Michael Thomas. The video I saw is where Thomas turned the boy around and got a playoff on him. So that's good news, man. That's good to see, man. That's good that Michael Thomas is getting back into the swing of things. I felt like the chemistry between him and Jameis Winston was going to be like the top, priority to me as far as how that offense goes. Because I've said this in the past, I feel like Thomas is the catalyst of that offense. When it comes to that passing attack between him. You got Jarvis Landry, you got Chris Olave. It's all gonna bounce off of Michael Thomas. It looks really well, man. The future looks bright with those three for this season. With Thomas, Olave, and Jarvis Landry, and Thomas, Olave, and Jarvis Landry. It looks pretty well. It looks pretty good. Jameis Winston showing improvement in training camp in regards to his short to intermediate passing a game. That's an element of that's an element of where Thomas is his best at as a wide receiver, and I think that's impressed, man. It's pretty it's good to know, man. It's good to see that Winston is tailoring his game to the wide receivers, because I believe that these are the type of wide receivers that Drew Brees would do really well with. Guys that are efficient in like I said, the short to intermediate passing game, the passes underneath, the slants, the quick routes. It's a lot that things that go into that. There's a piece by Nick Underhill talking about how that's gonna work out and how that could play out with Jameis Winston if he can get that down pat, get more acclimated with throwing to the running backs, throwing to those guys, to Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, those guys into the flats, the things underneath, and make things happen. So I really like what I see out of Michael Thomas, man. I like it. I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he's gonna, get back on the field anytime soon in preseason, or they're gonna hold him out. So that's gonna be the next thing I would like to see. But so far, Thomas looks good in training camp. So we'll see how everything plays out. All right, next we talk about Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning, man, the first round pick of this year's draft by the Saints. I know you guys have seen the videos that have been posted online. The videos of where Penning is getting in fights with players. Not playing to that the end of the whistle. You seeing Trevor Penning jokes out there, and you know what? I like the guy. I like him. I like his aggression. I like his aggressiveness as a football player. I just think that he just has to, just tone it down a notch, man. Tone it down a notch, because in football games, the actual games this year, the Saints get penalized for that, for his aggressiveness, and him playing to that whistle. I think the offensive line needs a guy like a Trevor Penning. He may be that guy that could be that vocal leader. That the guy that can, galvanize the offensive line like Teron Armstead did, while he was here. Ramczyk is a little quiet, on the quiet side. Nothing's wrong with that. Maybe, he steps things up this year, but Trevor Penning could be that guy that can get this unit together and be better, against these pass rushers. They got a lot of these pass rushers out here that the Saints are going to face this year, But there was a session where Penning and I think it was Carl Granderson, if I'm not mistaken. No, not Carl Granderson. Malcolm Roach, they got into a fight, and Dennis Allen put him out of practice for the day. So he wasn't too happy about that. But after that, man, I didn't really hear all too much about Trevor Penning to close out the week of training camp. But I believe the Saints have the right coaching staff. Doug Marrone, who's working with the offensive line to reel him in, to get him to tone it down just a bit, man. Tone it down just a bit, and I think he's going to be a really good offensive lineman. His talent's raw. I don't have an issue with them going with James Hurst to start off the year. He has a lot of time to wait to learn. Trent Penning, and I think he eventually take over. But he just got to turn it down a notch, man. Tone it down just a notch, man, and he'll be a more complete, a more well-rounded offensive lineman. And unfortunately, hopefully this stuff don't ball over into like his career where people overlook how good he is, and just to point out that he's I would say like a dirty player, or a player that's really aggressive. They don't really look at his technique or how efficient he can be as a left tackle. And hopefully that narrative doesn't get placed on them, because that happens to a lot of good players. A lot of players that are really talented, but due to them being aggressive and been known to take cheap shots and things like that, they get recognized as a dirty player, or a player that's just really aggressive, and people not really focusing on their skill set as a player. But so far, like I said, I like the guy. I'm a fan, and I'm glad he's with his team. All right, up next, man, we got the holdout of Chauncey Gardner Johnson, CD Deuce, otherwise known as Reports came out this week from Nick Underhill that he's gonna limit his training camp availability, and that's because he wants a new deal. And I have no issue with that, man. I have no issue with him holding in, being there at training camp, but not going all the way 100%. He deserves a new deal. His presence on the field is what I believe puts the Saints defense over the edge. The Saints haven't had that type of personality in a long time, and I'm glad that the Saints they have found it with C.D. Deuce with Gardner Johnson. He was a part of that draft class. I think that is pretty good in my opinion. That included Eric McCoy and Carl Granderson. I think C.D. Deuce was a 4th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, and he's fit in pretty well, man. He's a fan favorite, one of the best slot corners in the league. I think Kenny Moore is right now is the standard of how a slot corner should be paid. And his contract, it's not. I looked at it. It's not much, man. It's not like comparing it to a guy like a Jalen Ramsey or a Marshawn Lattimore or J.C. Jackson, guys that are more on the outside. He's for the most part he's a niche player in my opinion, C.D. Deuce, but he has a lot of intangibles that a lot of other corners or slot corners don't have. Man, he can affect he can affect opposing wide receivers mentally. We saw that in the past where I forgot that wide receiver's name, but the Chicago Bears, he provoked that guy to punching him, taking a shot at him, and the penalty went on the Chicago Bears. He just, he got up in Brady's face last year in that game against Tampa Bay, picked him off. He's just not scared, man, and that's good. And the Saints need that type of player. And that was a tweet today that came out stating that the Saints should trade C.D. Deuce, and I'm like, well, I get the logic behind that. And I like what I hear, and I'm hearing about Alontae Taylor. I still don't think you should do it, because we don't know if Taylor could bring those type of, vibes to the team where compared to C.D. Deuce, where everybody's, motivation levels at all time high, where he can get into the heads of defensive backs. We don't know if he can do all that type of stuff, Or does he have those attributes as a slot corner? If the Saints decide to put him in there, it's a business. I clearly get it. I clearly understand why CD's doing it. So now I respect it. But they drafted Alontae Taylor for a reason, man. They did. They drafted him just for this type of reason, just in case contract situation negotiations, fall flat. But I think the last I heard was that they were working on a deal, but things were still a little, far apart in certain aspects, certain, languages of the contract. But I'm hoping that this stuff gets resolved and it doesn't go into to the regular season. So we'll see how everything plays out. All right, last we got the Miami Dolphins Tampa with Sean Payton while he was still under contract with the Saints. So, last year around the time when it was announced that Payton was leaving the Saints, there was and I think along with that, it was a report that the Brian Flores was filing a lawsuit against the Miami Dolphins for accusing them of forcing him to tank games in order to receive a high draft pick. And he was part of that report was that Flores stated that the Dolphins were willing to give him, I believe, $100,000 every time he extra on top of his salary every time they loses a game on purpose in order so that draft stock could continue to rise. And there was also, we didn't know what we know it now that the Dolphins also tampered with Sean Payton. While he was still in the contract with the Saints, they contacted his agent about possibly coming to the team, getting moved from the Saints to the Dolphins, I guess, via trade. And there was also some tampering with Tom Brady as well while he was still with the New England Patriots. So, according to this press release I got from the NFL Communications, the Dolphins have a owner, Stephen Ross, will be suspended for at least up to October, and fined, and will lose a first round draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. A first round draft pick and a third round selection in 2024. So, and a lot of people are in the Saints land have been expressed their opinions on it and express how they feel about Miami tampering with the Dolphins, with Peyton, and then people are starting to question Peyton's if Peyton all really want to be here. And I'll say this, based on what I see, and after putting two and two together now, I think Peyton been worn out of the walls, man. We saw it in 2015 going to 2016. There were talks of him possibly leaving. They had a deal on the table. I think it was to go to San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken, San Francisco or Indianapolis to become their head coach. And part of the deal was that the Saints were going to get a few draft picks in return for the services of Peyton to those teams, coaching one of those teams. He came out, made up his mind, recommitted to staying with the team. Got things turned around. But from what I see, I could be wrong about this, whatever. Watching his body language in press conferences and pressers always made me feel like to wonder if he was satisfied with staying here, just based on his body language at the post game pressers and things like that. And this was in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. The team was winning games, man. We're winning games, and it's like Peyton was just not all there. Like he was just wasn't interested, just going through the motions. I could be wrong on that. That's just my theory. And last year, given everything that went down, the team did great. I felt like it was one of Peyton's best jobs as a head coach. He had 58, 59 different starters on the team, 4 different starting QBs, and you still came within a playoff berth with all that went down. You still were able to fight. But yet again, he was ready to go. People say, well, he doesn't really believe in Jameis Winston. That's the reason why I've heard his wife didn't feel too comfortable in New Orleans because of the crime issue right now. A bunch of stuff, COVID and this, and he's worn out from the no call. A bunch of Goodell, he's tired of Roger Goodell messing with him, and the beef between those two. Who knows, man? But I just think that he was ready to go, man. It's just sometimes, man, it change is good, man, and it could be good for us and for him. He could go somewhere, win us another Super Bowl, and we might win another Super Bowl. Saints might win a Super Bowl with Dennis Allen, or now we got, better players than they had last year in the year prior to that, in regards to the wide receiver room. Defense is constantly getting better by the year. And that's something that started in 2017 and still happens to this day. We had to moved some head coaches, some not head coaches, some assistants, and got some new ones, new position coaches, uh, new guy over scouting department, and it looks great. He left the team I think, in a better place for where Dennis Allen could take over at. Um, Now, I'm not really all too upset about it. Peyton era was over. But we still have people that are still around, and I think Dennis Allen is the best guy for the job right now. And he's gonna do things a little different from Sean Payton. I like it so far. He's more open with the media. He's more open about injuries, talking about injuries with the press. Things like that. He's straightforward. But Peyton, did a great job, man. He did a great job as a head coach. I'll never forget him for that. Turned the franchise around, made it, cool to be a Saints fan, if you know what I mean. You know, hope he gets to find what he's looking for in his next venture with us as a head coach. But like I said, it's what's done is done. And you can't go back and change it. It made the Dolphins. I felt like the punishment that the Dolphins got is a little light. I think Raw should have been definitely for the year. In a fine, I think you got to fine like $1 million. Like what $1 million is to Stephen Ross. You know, or should have been forced to sell his team. In my opinion, for telling a coach, alleging that a coach, they didn't find anything on him. They really didn't hit him with finding. They didn't really find him with. He didn't punish him with the allegations that Flores came up with making him be allowed to tank. But they got him for the tampering. He should be suspended more than what they put out in the press release. But I don't make the rules. But Peyton, I think the Saints should have gotten draft picks, man. But what's done is done, man, and people gonna be upset about that and won't let it go. Like we always do. But it's time to move on, man. We got a new head coach. Um, Younger players. We got better wide receivers than we had last year. You know, it's just time to move on. Pay probably won't come back to the Saints. Next year it'll be a new team. So we'll see everything plays out. But looking forward to this upcoming week of another week of Saints training camp. I think the preseason game will get started up pretty soon. The first game, and hopefully a new deal could be made between CD Dose and the team. So we'll see everything plays out with that, and the chemistry between Michael Thomas and James Winston. That's something else I want to see grow, see progress as we lead up into the first game against the Atlanta Falcons in the regular season. So there's that as well. All right, man. That's all I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how y'all feel. How you feel about the Dolphins tampering with Sean Payton while he was still under contract with the Saints? Do you think the Saints should have gotten draft picks because of that? Also, how you feel about Michael Thomas's progression so far? How you feel about Trevor Penning being aggressive as being a tad too aggressive as a left tackle? Do you think it's too much, or do you like it? And please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon so you can receive my latest updates whenever I go live or my latest videos. Listen to this through Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave your review if you can. Leave a comment, expressing your feelings. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Have a blessed night. Peace. I'm out. Who that?